Hi, Eagle friends, family, and fans. You're here with the second installment of our Behind the Feathers podcast. And today we have Alyssa Radke joining us. Alyssa's been here at this program now for quite some time, and she's getting ready to embark on her master's program. So we will get rolling and get you guys to know a little bit more about Alyssa. All right, so Alyssa, give us a little bit of backstory. How did you end up choosing Eastern?
Eastern contacted me when I was freshly 16 years old, and they invited me out to a visit. Obviously, there was a different coaching staff when I committed. I committed on my visit. Immediately, I decided that it was somewhere I wanted to be. I love the environment. I grew up in a small town as well, so I really liked that it was small and confined and focused on the sports here at Eastern. So I committed when I was 16, I signed when I was 17, and got here when I was 18. It was really exciting. I have obviously got a new coaching staff, but nonetheless, the town itself is somewhere that I love to be, and I love that Spokane is close, and that if you want to go to a bigger city, it's not far. It's only 30 minutes. So.
Okay.
Did you know anything about Eastern before they contacted you? Okay.
Actually, yes. Growing up, my brother had wrestling tournaments here at Eastern all the time. So I was constantly traveling to Eastern, and I would roll down the big hills up there and run around on the field when I was little and do all this fun stuff while my brother wrestled. So I had known about Eastern since I can remember, really.
Okay. So this time here at Eastern has been quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And so in that time, you came in, you wanted to be in the medical field and be a surgeon, and then that changed a little bit. What are you studying now?
I'm starting my master's in organizational leadership, and I had some big dreams when I first walked in to Eastern, and obviously things change. I have decided to switch my major then, because having to balance the time of like being a pre-med student and also a D1 athlete is like very hard to do. And I had decided that I was going to take a route that would lead me more like a business approach instead of the medical field. And I am happy with my decision. I think it was the right decision for me personally. But I've been here this will be my 5th year, and I've been on quite the journey since I've been here.
Well, I think that's really important for a lot of kids, because they either don't have any idea what they want to do when they come out of high school, or they're very, very focused on one thing, not understanding that in this time period, a lot can change. The things that you value can change. Things that get brought to your attention because you're taking a class maybe that you didn't have to take, but you took as an elective, and that's a lot of fun. So I think that's really important to recognize it. Just because what you thought was going to be your path, it can always change.
Yeah, I was very set in stone when I first walked onto campus. I had decided that I had this huge plan and I wasn't going to let anything deter me from it. But really, there's just like so many opportunities in college and so many different things to learn from. And once I had like broadened my view a bit, I had realized that there was other routes that were better for me than the medical field and medical school and all of this other stuff. And once those opportunities were like presented to me and I was able to receive them and actually think about them without just being stuck in my one path, I realized that there's a lot you can do with a degree, or there's lots of degrees you can get. There's a lot to learn in college as you grow as well.
Right. All right. So now kind of switching gears slightly. You've had a very interesting / maybe challenging time over the past few years. You had an outstanding 2022-23 season. You're really taking off. You had your first serious injury that kind of took the wind out of your sails a little bit. You come back in 24. You had this great start to the season, and then you had the rug pulled out from under you again. But now you're back in arguably the best shape I've seen you. Can you kind of talk about your experience, your recovery, how that shaped how you approach the game now?
Yeah, of course. So obviously my sophomore season was a dream. It was amazing. My 2022 year, I felt like I was really taking off. I was super excited. I felt like I was physically what I thought then was my peak. I was like really excited for myself. And then spring season, I tore my ACL and my meniscus and a few others and had to have surgery. And it was a really rough experience for me personally. I mean, it was going from being a superstar athlete to not being able to walk, or learning how to jump again and learning how to run again, and all these things that you just take for granted. And it was really hard. And I'm thankful that I had that experience, because I had to learn how to be more than just an athlete. You have to learn who you are outside of the gym. And so I worked really hard mentally and physically to get back from that. And there was a lot of ups and downs. And I came back for the next season. What was it, 2024?
Yep.
Yeah, 2024 season. And I was not exactly back to where I wanted to be in the beginning of season and preseason. I was still struggling to kind of get my rhythm back, which is expected. I mean, I had taken a year off. And once I finally felt like I was getting my bearings and I was starting to get back to who I was, I tore my other ACL and meniscus. So this recovery, I will say, has been easier on me mentally. I knew what to expect. I knew that I was strong enough to get through this. The first one, you question if you can get through it every day. Every day you wake up and you're like, can I really do this? But I knew I could this time, and I was really excited to be more comfortable in the situation, I guess. Like, obviously, it's not the perfect circumstance. No one wants to do it twice.
Sure.
But the second time for me was quite a bit easier. I have a great support system, not only like within athletics, but also outside of athletics. My family and my friends and everyone was more than supportive. And this recovery, I really focused on like physically just being like strong, I guess. I want to be able to like feel fit and toned. Like my first recovery, I kind of focused just on like gaining muscle. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to gain all my muscle back. This time I'm just kind of focusing on like what feels good for my body, I guess. I'm also a little more dedicated physically than I was my first one. My first one, I was focused mostly on like my mental, like being able to feel like an athlete again mentally. This time I'm more focused on physical. I know who I am without being an athlete. I know who I am as an athlete. I'm more established as a person, I would say. So now I'm more focused on like physically getting my body back into playing shape. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where this year takes me, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to keep playing, although I've had 2 very serious injuries.
So I want to go off of what you were talking there. I've talked to a lot of athletes, collegiately and pro, who have gone through injuries like that. And a lot of them talk about the hardest part isn't always like the physical toll of having to rehab all the time, but it is that mental, like you tear that in a split second. Unfortunately, I was there for your first one. I was coaching at another school, but I was there, and that happens, and then you've got a year of, oh, I have to get up. I have to go to rehab. I have to do the tiny little leg lifts. I have to take a shower somehow with a bag on my leg or whatever. Talk about some of those things that maybe you learned and some of those mental hurdles just from that part of it. Not even like the physical part, but like the little things that made it a little tougher the first time. It sounds like you learned a lot from the first time.
I would say the biggest like mental hurdle for me was you can't do really anything on your own. You are constantly having to ask for help. I'd become pretty independent by my second year of college, and like I took pride in like being able to do what I needed to do by myself. Like I could spend the whole day by myself if I wanted to and just be totally fine. But then you become unable to really like walk on your own once you get surgery. You're on crutches, you can't drive. So you can't get your own groceries. You need help showering. You need help like brushing your hair. You have to have people cook for you. And like, you become dependent on people. Like your support system is super important. So that was really hard for me. And also the same routine every day. You wake up, you go to rehab, you do the same exercises you've been doing for the last month. And it feels like there's no progress. Like you're still unable to walk. You can't do anything on your own. So I would say that's really hard too. Like going from being someone who's super athletic and very in shape and all this to like barely being able to bend and lift your leg on your own. It's just, it all crashes in a matter of literal seconds. So I would say that was really hard. And also you become going from being a part of a team to what feels like sort of like an outcast, you could say, because you're not on the court with your team, and that's where you bond the most, is on the court. And in weights and all of this other stuff that you guys constantly do together, you go from being in the middle of that to being on the sideline watching it. And that was a huge mental toll for me, especially because I have such a strong bond with my teammates. Watching them, some of them like their last season play without me, was very difficult because I felt like I was just missing out. I was truly just watching it in front of me instead of like being a part of it. But I mean, everything happens for a reason. And I just had to keep, I guess, telling myself that although the reason might not be apparent now, I will be able to look back on the situation and understand why I was placed in the position.
I feel like that helped your game a little. Have you learned a lot about volleyball by sitting
Yes.
maybe next to the coaches and
Yeah.
hearing what we like whisper to each other in the moment?
Maybe
like-
not that, but I have learned a lot being on the outside, because you can really see how the team functions and like what the team strives at and what maybe we need a little more work on. It becomes way clearer when you're constantly watching everybody. So I would say that, yeah, and your eye work gets a lot better because you're constantly just watching what's happening. You can read a lot better. Everything kind of falls into place. But yeah, I've learned a lot.
Good. I got one more kind of thing here for you. So, given all this stuff, what has been your best memory, like your most fun memory of the time that you spent here? Maybe you can't nail it down to just one, but is there one that kind of stands out?
I have two.
Okay.
So, it would be my junior season. So it was 2023. We went to the Big Sky tournament at UNC, and we were the 6th seed, I believe. Seventh. And first round we played number 2 UNC at home. It was their home tournament, and we beat them. I was still injured, but to be able to see like my teammates that have worked so hard for an opportunity like this just absolutely take advantage of being the underdog and completely shock the whole gym and every team in there, and being able to just run to the middle and crash on the floor with your team after that it was truly something I'll never forget. It was a great feeling. Was I sad because I missed it? Yes, of course. I wasn't on the court, but there's the joy overpowers the sadness every time because of being able to see the people that you see every day work so hard, finally get what they've been working for, was amazing. And then my second is 2024 season. It was actually right before I tore my ACL, not too long. We went to the Montanas, and we played Montana State first, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
And we beat them, and we were on kind of a winning streak of some sort, if you will. And then we went to University of Montana, and we beat them. And we were, as a team, just feeling like we were really getting somewhere. We were seeing the progress that we had been working so hard for. And I remember sitting in the very back of the charter bus on the way to, what is it, like 6 hours from University of Montana. I'm in the very back with McKenna. And we are just giggling. We had just played 2 exhausting games. It was an exhausting weekend, and we had a lot of driving ahead of us. And we just sat back there, and our feet are in the air, we're kicking and we're smiling, and we're like, we finally did it. We're finally making it. We're on a winning streak. Like, it's because McKenna has been waiting for me to get back and be healthy, and this was my comeback season. And it was just a moment of like relief and joy, and we knew we had a lot ahead of us still. We had a lot of season ahead of us. There was going to be lots of struggles. We still had to get up on Monday morning and go to lift and go to practice. Even though we won a bunch of games in a row, there was a lot to do.
See you at
still.
7 a.m.
Yeah. There was still a lot to do, but that was nothing in comparison to the joy of winning with your best friends by your side. Like, it was just a wonderful feeling, really.
Good.
I'll never forget it.
That's awesome.
Good.
What does that kind of leads me to thinking, like, what does it mean to you, like, to have Eastern across your chest when you're putting on the jersey, or what does it mean to be an Eag to you?
For me, it's like a sense of pride, I guess. I've grown up in Washington my whole life, and to be able to support a school that I've been visiting since I was a little kid, and also just support coming from Washington, a small town in Washington, and being a D1 athlete who gets to put on a jersey and compete at such a high level is something that I take a lot of pride in. I'm the first collegiate athlete of my family, and to be able to make everyone proud and just be a part of such a community that we have here, it means the world to me. And I love to wear my Eastern gear wherever I go. People like to ask me, like, oh, do you play volleyball there? And there's so many questions, and it's really, it's like a family, and it's such a big honor, I guess you could say, to be able to support and to rep a school like this. It means everything to me, really, truly.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I only have one more question.
Mhm.
And I've only been here a few months now, but one of the first things I heard about you is that you have the world record for parking tickets at Eastern Washington. And I just wanted to, what's your strategy there? But by not paying for parking and getting a lot of tickets, what's kind of your thought process? And
First, I would like to say,
apparently you park wherever you want. You park just.
No, yes. Okay. So first, I would like to say I'm really surprised I haven't got a boot yet on my tire.
I am surprised too.
Because I have seen that happen, and I'm really glad it hasn't happened to me yet. Once I saw that happen, I started paying for parking immediately. I was like, I don't want to have to call my dad and tell him I have a boot on my tire, and he has to come help me figure it out. But my strategy is to be in a rush.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you're in a rush, you don't think about paying for parking.
Interesting.
Or think about where you're parking.
Okay. Well,
and
we'll
also, when you're on crutches for quite a long time, you just $25 is not that big of a fee when you don't want to crutch down a hill in the snow. I will say that.
Okay.
That has a lot to do with it as well.
All right, cool.
But yeah, I need to pay those. Thanks for reminding
Yeah,
me.
you're welcome.
Well, thank you for spending some time with us and giving our fans and our family and our friends an opportunity to hear a little bit about your journey here. Whenever we get asked, like, how do what are some of the things that we want as a coaching staff? And I always want our players to have a real nice connection with us that's beyond the court. I think for me, one of the very first time I felt like I had that connection with you was when I'm in Hawaii and I get this random text from you of you feeding a calf. And I thought, like, okay, now that's it. Like, I'm sharing this moment with you, and you thought to send that to me, like, John would appreciate it, and I absolutely did. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Of course.
And just as a heads up for next time, we've got Anna coming in for the third installment of Behind the Feathers. And with that, we will say, go Eags!
Go Eags!